I like to think that whenever we clap to sync, it actually is at the same time every time we've ever done it. It's just that some people are really bad at clapping along to the time.
It might that honestly might be true. That's probably me.
They had a rollback on it. See, I've been playing Street Fighter, so I care about rollback now. Anyway,
what is Street Fighter, Curtis?
Now, Carl, Street Fighter 6 is the sequel to Street Fighter 5. Not only is it the best game I've ever played, it has an incredible Easter egg in the middle of it. If you play Street Fighter 6 and you select the character DJ and you play the 12-match arcade mode, at the very end, it will show you a special message that says, "This is the Every F and FF podcast. My name is Curtis."
I'm Carl.
And I am Alex. I was trying to think of a Street Fighter character. I completely blanked.
And Alex.
Alex
is a Street Fighter
today
character.
Is none other than Blanca.
Yeah. Do you know that Blanca's lore in the new game is that he's a millionaire now? So he's become a class trader. Yeah, on one hand, I love it for him, but on the other hand, he's now part of the bourgeois. Oh
no, Blanca just spent some of his wealth to go into a submarine and try and find the Titanic.
Oh no, Blanca, no.
Blanca, no.
He's not going to be able to drive and pack his way out of this one. That's a little joke for all my Street Fighter Sigtas.
Oh, man.
Final Fantasy, baby.
They should send a whole a Thai football team down to save the submarine.
Hey, whoa. I just remembered something. Didn't Elon Musk say that he was going to invent a submarine to save those kids and then called that guy a pedophile because that guy actually
where's the submarine now?
Dude, that dude fucking sucks. I think also I saw things. I don't know. I haven't been following the submarine billionaire, event at all because I don't care. But
they're dead.
Well, I mean, they announced Super Mario RPG, so it's kind of you have to keep your priorities.
Yeah,
in
like
mind.
if you're gonna spend $250,000 to like cosplay as James Cameron for like a couple days, like you should probably plan it for a time when they don't announce that Super Mario RPG is being remade. It's back in a big way.
That's the real tragedy here.
But yeah, I saw a thing that apparently like something to do with like the submarine like praising Starlink as like the reason for like critical like being able to like make this all possible or something. I don't know. I'm just speaking out my ass. I don't like billionaires, so I don't know.
Everything was a lot better when the Black Knight was around. He would never let this happen.
I didn't like it when the Black Knight owned Twitter, but like at least it wasn't as bad as it is now. So we're so back, baby. We're taking Fynn back. We're taking the castle Fynn back.
Hell yeah, dude.
That's right. It's finally time. We've gone around the world. We've done several missions. We've to some extent beat the Empire in the way that we destroyed the Dreadnought, but it's not enough. We got to take back our hometown. Or well, I guess not Furion's hometown.
We've beaten the Empire on quite a few turns here. The win to loss ratio here in Final Fantasy 2 is like way better than it was when we played Final Fantasy 4. Like we're actually kind of making some ground. We're kicking some ass. Like we didn't fight the Emperor. We cornered him and then got, thrown into jail, which we escaped because we're homies with a cool ninja.
That's true. Also, I love the idea of a ninja just being named Paul. I love that.
It's really good.
Paul the Ninja.
It's a good ninja name. Or I guess he's a thief, but whatever.
It's like in Dark Souls when there's like Rhea, like the cleric who's going into the catacombs, and then she has her like two like escorts with her, and they're just named like Vincent and Nico or something. So it's like
so good.
I just love that.
So good.
Normal dude names, like so good.
For a second there, I just want you all to know I almost gave another Street Fighter fact, but I will relent.
Please do.
And well, the new bad guy in Street Fighter 6, his name is JP, and I think that's the most dork-ass like name for the bad guy, and I love it. Not like, no offense to anybody named JP, I'm just saying like, if you have an ultimate bad guy evil, like, you know what I mean? Like, who can use dark magic and shit like that, it's very funny to name him JP, and that owns, and it rules, and I love it.
I feel like for some reason JD just sounds so much cooler.
There you go. That would have been...
like if your name is JP, Nothing's stopping you from just telling people that your name is actually JD.
You have to erase very few lines on the P to make it look like a little D.
Yeah, exactly. It's easy. Easy fix.
But you know what else is a good name for a bad guy? It would be Gotos. Gotos, which is apparently the guy who's in charge of Fynn now. So we got to take back the castle from him. But on the way, we can go to a one-time area that disappears from the game if we don't go there now. Hilda and Gordon have set up camp, and we're actually able to like visit them at their temporary camp on the way to Fynn.
Yeah, this is where, which I was actually a little confused because it was like, we were told like, oh, it looks like we're about to take back Fynn. You should go like talk to Hilda about this. And it seems more like that they're volunteering us to take back Fynn.
Yeah, really, yeah.
Because it's just us.
Did you hear? You guys are taking back Fynn. That's incredible. Like, oh.
Yeah.
No sleep for the weary.
That's kind of how shit at work usually goes, where it's like, oh, the company's got this great new incentive thing that's going on that's like this overhaul project or something. You're like, oh, that's great. And then they're like, yeah, so here's how you overhaul the company and enjoy it. And you're like, oh, okay, I guess. I do like some of the extra lore that we get before going to that camp, where we can talk to some of the rebels in Altair, and you talk to the one guy and he says, we're taking back our castle. And then you talk to like another one of the guys, there's a bunch of them walking around, and one of them says, oh, we've infiltrated the castle, the enemy is in disarray. So then like on the other side of the room, you go to talk to someone, he says, we're taking back our castle. And then like there's a guy next to him, and you can go up to him and talk to him, and he says, we've infiltrated the castle, the enemy is in disarray. I have so many screenshots of different NPCs just saying all that shit. Like,
now, luckily, when you actually go to the camp to see Hilda and Gordon, they are surrounded by like 8 different people who are like soldiers or whatever. And if you talk to those soldiers, they actually say, we've infiltrated the castle. The enemy is in disarray. And if you talk to the one like on the side, he'll say, we're taking back our castle.
I think I might have actually misspoke as well. And I don't think that was in Altair. It kind of just looks like Altair.
It would be much funnier if it was in both places.
Yeah, I think I'm seeing the 2 thrones that I guess they just brought thrones from Altair or wherever to put in this little tent that's in the overworld.
Not only did they bring their thrones to their camp, they constructed their camp out of like cinder blocks and have like put down the fancy rug.
Yeah, it's really nice. They spared no expense.
Oh, and we always know that works out.
I really like they can talk to Hilda and Gordon, just kind of touch base.
Yeah.
And if you say Wild Rose to
Hilda,
love it. In the Pixel remaster, at least, she says, do not fear, I am the true princess.
Yep,
What's this? I could swear you were blushing.
No, she doesn't say the second part.
She doesn't say the blushing thing, but no, you can say Wild Rose to her, and she says, don't fear, I am the true princess.
Yeah, I think that one's consistent through all the versions. But like the second line, like, oh yeah, because Furion.
That's a really nice touch, especially because most of these terms that we learn are like single use, and then they just clog up a menu forever. Like true. You're like Goddess Bell, and you just get question mark back. But it's really nice that even this deep into the game, when we've like pretty much there's no more need for the Wild Rose thing, that they threw it in to be like, oh no, like you have reason to be suspicious of the princess, like the Empire kind of tricked you already, and this is the surefire way to make sure that you can tell. I think that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
I did learn a new word from Hilda. I personally used my human ask command to select a word.
I think I know exactly which word you were talking about. I did the same thing. Yeah, Castellan, I think. Castellan. And I used in the menu you get ask, learn, item, and then the final one is Google, which requires another device, like a cell phone or perhaps a laptop. So I used the Google option and found that. And Castellan is, I think, just like the person in command of a castle.
Indeed.
Yeah. So, while we hold the Imperial forces at bay, you'll slip in and kill the Castellan.
I appreciate that, like, even though the Wikipedia page, like, entry on the sidebar of Google is, like, all about what a Castellan is, all the pictures are from Warhammer 40k.
You're
nice.
right.
Hell yes. The gamers win again, dude.
Yeah. When gamers win, everyone loses.
The only gamers that ever actually win are tabletop gamers. And we all know this.
So yeah, we're able to go to the Castle Fynn now and actually go inside. And I pretty much walked in, took 3 steps, and got my fucking ass stomped. Like I got like into a encounter with 6 enemies a bunch of sorcerers and a bunch of knights, and they beat my shit up.
That is a real rough
my
encounter. And to kind of put into perspective this, for the Pixel remaster, I have some screenshots. And I played that one like a month ago and beat it. And I have a bunch of screenshots before reaching the Castellan. And it's like me getting loot and stuff, but I don't have any screenshots of any of the encounters. And then I just have a screenshot eventually that says, "You've defeated the enemy commander." And I was like, oh, okay. So in the Pixel remaster, this was no problem for me.
Yeah.
In the NES version, I got the same encounter that Curtis did and got like fucking destroyed. I had to keep dipping out to like the outside and like go to like the town kind of close by and just using the inn and refreshing myself to like, because these sorcerers can do like sleep and like stun on a lot of your party, and it's rough. It's rough to get through.
Oh yeah, I got stoned. I think I had like a retreat for a while to go.
That's the other one. Yeah, some of them I think have death spells as well.
Yep.
So you can just get instant death, or you can get turned to stone. And like I have Asuna leveled up pretty good with Maria, but if she gets placed into stone, I'm pretty fucked, because it's unlikely that you're gonna have like gold needles just in the equipment slot for the off chance that you might get it. It's like at that point you might as well just plan for a wipe and try again, in my opinion.
Now I will say there's something very interesting that they drop in this game. Have you looked at the spell Toad in this game?
I sure have.
Okay,
I also have some information about Toad
from Mario.
Yes,
That's right.
exactly.
That's right.
No, I do have some information that I heard about Toad, just in the trivia of this game in general. But yes, Toad is definitely worth getting. More so than that, there's another thing that they can drop that I got dropped in this section. It was either here or like the previous section. I can't fully remember when I got this, but if you get an Osmos tome, you're gonna want to put that on pretty much anyone.
Tell me about
everyone.
that, because I got one. And then I was like, I remember Carl saying something about Osmos, so let me wait to use it until I talk to you next.
Sure. So, you know how like we've been struggling with the NES game and how it seems really unbalanced, and sometimes you'll walk into areas and just be like, I can't get out of here alive.
Oh boy, do
that refuses to be a problem anymore. If you have decent spells and you have a good spellcaster, you can just put Osmos on them, and it is probably the most effective spell in the game in that it will always hit.
Oh, really?
And if you're familiar with Osmos from other Final Fantasy games, that is a way of using a magic spell to get back some MP. Okay. And pretty much MP is the only thing that I use that can get me through most of these attacks or most of these battles. So I put it on Maria, I cast it on the whole party, and you're guaranteed to get like at least some MP back from it. And it's basically like I can just sit there and spam it. I think the way that Osmos works in this one as well, even if the enemy doesn't have any MP, like if you were to use swap and you would get 0 MP from it, you will still get some MP back from it.
Okay, that's sick.
So like you're pretty much guaranteed to replenish some of your MP.
That's awesome. I had no idea.
And the more you level it up, like the more you get back. So there's been times where I've just been like, okay, for this fight, Maria's just going to chill back and use Osmos a bunch of times, and now she has 100 MP back.
Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome.
It's really good. So no more going back to the inn to make sure I can cure my way out of scrapes.
All right, that's super tight.
I think we also didn't mention that when we first arrive at Fynn, Layla shows up, and she's like, hey,
she shows up several steps into it, so there's more than enough time for you to walk in and get your fucking shit punched in.
Oh, that is true.
Before you even get to her.
Before you progress to the second floor,
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. She is at the stairs to the second floor, which is great.
Before that, because I was getting my ass kicked, there is 4,000 gil to find on the first floor, which is a blessing when I'm like, I need gold needles now, and I have like no money because I bought a bunch of shit like not that long ago.
Yeah.
Actually,
it's 1,000 in the NES version, but the Pixel remaster is way more generous with its skill.
The money is about to become a very...
There's 2 chests with 1,000 and 1 chest with 2,000, I think.
Oh,
so
I'm you're absolutely right. Yeah, it's 1,000, 1,000, and then 2,000. So it must be the same in both versions. Well,
money is about to become a very interesting mechanic in the game as well, where past this point, and really past maybe the next town that we get to, we are just going to be fucking pulling in dollars. And there's really like almost no more shops. There's like one or two more shops for the duration of the game. And so we will have the money to just buy elixirs from now on. Coming up. Not quite yet, maybe, but
there
soon.
is a I think at this point I have like over 100,000 gil and don't really need to spend it all that much. Like there is a shop coming up where we can buy a lot of tomes, which I think are a little more expensive, but we're also fighting enemies that are regularly dropping tomes that are like anywhere from 1,000 to like 5,000 gil that when you sell it. And like you could only, I mean, I guess you could hold on to them to like guarantee the spell thing, like use it as an item in battle, but I don't really see too much of a use case at this point in the game.
Sure. But yeah, we get Layla back on the team, so that's awesome. She's great.
She's the best. I love her.
She's the best. And I had a very interesting.
She says in the Pixel remaster, she says, "You don't want to be hacking your way deep into enemy territory without me."
I had a very interesting experience with Layla joining my team again, where as soon as I opened the menu, she had 0 HP. She was not dead, but she had 0 HP, entirely alive. And I would get into a fight, and I think I did get into a fight with her, but it was only like with an enemy or two, and I just killed the enemies, and she still had 0 HP. And I was like, is Layla invincible? What the fuck? Because I guess in the NES version, when a character leaves your party and then joins later, they join with whatever HP they had. So if she was KO'd and had 0 when she left, she'll have 0 when she joins, but they're always alive when they join. So I had a character with 0 HP, but after one turn, when it goes to the next turn, they'll die. And so
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, but
that would have been cool if she was just invincible. Yeah.
Oh, it would have been great. I was like, oh my god, maybe she's invincible, but no, she will just die.
It'll like spill over when like she gets hit. It goes -1, which
God,
goes
I wish.
all the way to like max.
Yeah, I was thinking like, or you use like, I don't know, a certain spell or something, and it does a certain amount of damage. I could totally see it fucking with the game that way, but
yeah.
No such luck. But another good thing with Layla rejoining the party is she will still have the equipment that she had on when you last had her in your party. I think I spoke like you might want to disarm Layla because this is coming up, and it was like, oh yeah, we still got to fight someone with Layla, so maybe not yet, but like in preparation, because in the earlier versions of the game, that doesn't just go back into your inventory; it actually just stays on the person forever, and you can never get it back. But she's the first returning guest to our party, right?
Indeed, it's true.
Oh yeah.
So now I think it would be a good time because the enemies in this castle, right? They can be kind of tough. They cast some tough magic. They hit hard, and they can take a little while to kill too. They can take like a turn to take them down. But along with the sorcerers who drop interesting things like Toad, there's an enemy called the Wizard who uses a spell, Toad 8. And I am looking at a screenshot of my game here, where all 4 characters got hit by Toad in one turn, and it says Furion lost, game over. And so if everybody becomes a Toad, it's just game over in this game.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What?
In the same way that if everyone gets turned to stone, it's game over, because it's like it's not a death condition necessarily, like technically, because you can get past it. Like you can use items or Asuna or whatever. But that is not the case with this. I also, at one point, I was kind of getting into points where like I think they're the Spectre. I think you were talking about these guys last time, Curtis. Like the skeleton guys who are like a nice beige color.
I hate them.
They can use stone magic, and I had Layla with a unicorn horn equipped. Because I was like, okay, if I do that, I can just throw that because it's a full party thing. And I did that, and it did nothing because the unicorn horn does not do Asuna. It does Basuna, which only does things that will heal themselves in battle.
Okay.
So like venom versus poison or whatever. Like,
yeah.
So I was just like, fuck. It didn't. Interestingly, it didn't consume the unicorn horn, but I'm like, I have no use case for this because I have Asuna, or I can just make it through this battle, and then when I'm out of it, that status is no longer there, and I don't have to think about it. It's like maybe confusion would be a use case for it, but it might have also been confusion that I was using it for, and it didn't work. I can't remember the specifics, but So useless item.
Yeah, so I went ahead and pretty much sold all of my items like that. I just wanted the extra space. I needed some room for like status healing items. So I just said, you know what? These are cool, but like I can't imagine when I'm actually going to use them. So I'm going to get rid of them. So I did. But one last note, I guess, on Toad before we leave it.
It works differently on enemies.
It works differently on enemies. It is functionally a KO move. It's a instant death attack, and it is the highest accuracy of any instant death attack with an accuracy of 30% per cast. So at like level 3 or 4, if you can get it, you start getting like 3 or 4 rolls of 30% where you're like more than likely to hit. You can annihilate enemies pretty quick. And apparently some enemies have like a defense, like boss enemies or like larger monsters have a defense against death, but they don't have a defense against Toad. So you can take like the boss coming up, you can cast Toad on him and kill him instantly. So interesting.
Or the final boss in the game.
That's awesome. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so it's a really so I also put Toad on Maria just because it's, that seems kind of fun. I wonder if you use it, what does it do? Toad 8 or whatever? Because that, like, if you just have that as a tome and can use that seems really busted.
Yeah,
but yeah, like these spells are getting really, really powerful now. Because I mean, like we were talking in the beginning of the season, it's like, whoops, you missed. Whoops, you missed. Like that is also how magic works for the most part. But these spells like Osmos and Toad, like we're really getting into like overpowered things, which is nice because I can't imagine playing the NES version without these. Like it suddenly feels like the game is balanced in our favor versus just like an uphill battle where it's like, oh, it kind of feels like cheese to be doing this. But at the same time, all of these enemies are one-shotting me or turning 3 of my party members to stone.
Yeah, they're beating our ass out there in the QT or the QRTs. We have to like
I need any advantage I can get. Yeah.
Speaking of which, have we ever discussed, we may have, and forgive me if we did we ever talk about what the 8 elements of the game are? Because like, like most games.
But this is a good place to get into it because it is fucking weird.
It's weird. And I'll start by saying the reason why Toad...
Curtis, why does this matter?
Oh, Carl, let me tell you why it matters. So... obviously, you're coding up a game, you make boss enemies. All the boss enemies in this game have a resistance to death element spells, right? Which in this game, death is an element. But Toad is a matter element. So there's an entire element for matter spells and matter weapons and items. So your eight elements in this game are the fire, lightning, ice. So like the traditional
Earth,
Final
wind,
Fantasies.
fire.
Yeah, right. Poison. Then there's mind, body, death, and matter. Very interesting. So I think it's cool.
I'd like to be it's in like the judicial system of like going to court or something where you have to be of sound mind and body.
Yeah, yeah.
Can I make the case that I may be of sound mind and body, but not quite of sound, death, and matter?
Apparently there is one weapon in the game that is of matter element, and it's the fucking Excalibur. It's like the best sword in the game. And it's
I would disagree
element.
that's the best sword in the game, but to each their own.
My mistake.
No, there's another in the vein of this being easy mode. There is I think a sword in this very dungeon that is also the sword for Final Fantasy II.
I know where you're getting
easy
mode.
Okay. Yeah,
fair enough. But
yeah, Excalibur is the ultimate sword, I guess.
Yeah. Matter is also the element of bad breath, the Marlboro skill.
Yeah, no wonder that shit fucks you up. I don't think we've seen one of those yet, right? Unless we dipped into a place that we're going to be going to soon. But
in this game, I don't know if there are Marlboros, but it is used in this game by the Chimera Sphinx and the Rios. But
I'm pretty sure there are Marlboros in. Yeah, there's definitely Marlboros in Final Fantasy II.
They don't use bad breath, huh? Or do they?
I think they use something similar that just does a bunch of status ailments. It might not be called bad breath, though.
Gotcha. Yeah, it looks like in this game the Marlboro just it's
They just
physical.
fuck you up without any
Yeah.
without any word for it.
Its physical attack is naturally paralyzing.
Yeah.
So anyway, so there's several encounters here. There's a bunch of treasure, but you can wait to get the treasure until you fight the boss here, the Castellan. And when we go up to him, his name is Gotos. He's sitting in one of the thrones in the throne room. And honestly,
I like that. I love that he's just there while you're running around. It's like not like he's like, what are you doing here?
Yeah, he sees you
cool.
across the hallway, like walking in and like checking out a mirror and then walking back and being like, oh, that mirror didn't do anything. That was kind of weird. Hey guys, I see some treasure chests over here. Let's check this out. Whoa, we got some cool fucking tomes in here. There's a death tome. Hell yeah. He's just sitting there doing nothing.
So how was your all's fight with Gotos?
This is all right.
All right. I had a classic early game Final Fantasy II fight with him where like all of my shit did 0 damage except for critical hits that did like a decent amount. So I just sat there and was like, well, hoping it goes all right. And I got through with one character alive. So
I'm always like missing.
Yeah, I genuinely don't remember. I can say without any question that I think it was very easy for me on Pixel Remaster. I had done a dungeon to get something that we're about to learn about after this boss fight. I had done the dungeon to get one of those pieces well before this, so I was probably over leveled. And then in the NES one, I think just with the accumulation of some of the different techniques that I got along the way, this fight wasn't really that hard.
Okay, gotcha.
What is Gatos?
What is he?
He looks like he looks like the fucking bat guy in the beginning of Ghost and Goblins.
Okay, I can see, yeah.
Because he looks just like a blue-skinned demon man in the Pixel Remaster. I think in Game Boy and PlayStation, he's kind of looks like a yellow hooded kind of luchador.
Oh, weird.
With the staff. But he's blue again, I guess, in NES.
Yeah, the Famicom, yeah.
Sometimes he looks like a human.
He very much looks like a Zelda, like a Game Boy Zelda enemy.
Yeah, he has like a little wrestler belt, a little championship belt on. Love this for him.
What a guy.
I'm looking at the art. The artwork's pretty sick. It's I mean, the Amano artwork's always sick, but he's an especially fucked up guy with a lot of abs.
Yeah, he's a lot more in the pixels. He kind of looks like he's like ripped. I feel like he's looking a little more stout in the Amano art.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, he does have a lot of side abs.
For sure. He's all core strength. Like
this dude's obliques unreal.
Looks like, so you know how people usually say like, oh, never skip leg day? It looks like he's like the opposite of that, where his arms could probably use a little bit more work, not casting any shade at him, but he's definitely bottom heavy, which is the best way to be.
I think he's like, there's so much muscle in his legs that he just doesn't have knees.
He just doesn't.
Maybe that's why he's in the chair. He can't leave the chair, which is why we have to go up to him to fight him.
That's fair.
He's like in the chair the whole time.
That's fair. Well, he's dead now. Fuck that guy. So we've taken the title. We've taken the title belt from him.
Apparently, he does get a boosted attack during it. I'm looking at the the fandom page, and it says the only challenge in fighting this beast is taking him out before he starts attacking with his boosted attack. It is not worth protecting the party's warriors with blink or protect. The party should just pound Gatos to take him down in a matter of a few rounds.
He did, yeah, that is true. He actually does spend the first couple turns powering up, but like it was. With the amount of damage I was doing, it was never going to happen. I was never going to take him down before he started going. Because I just wasn't doing the damage. But I was able to squeak it out, though. Oh, because he uses haste on himself.
Yeah, he uses haste on himself and imbibe on himself, which raises his attack,
But, yeah, I mean, he wasn't too bad. I think if you're doing any damage, even with criticals, you should be all right.
Yeah, from my my playthrough of this part on the NES, my memory is definitely more so with the enemy encounters in this area versus
same
versus him.
I definitely did a couple save state, run the RNG, and see what encounter I get to get through here. Yeah. Which interestingly enough, I feel like past literally this area, like the fights in Fynn Castle, getting up to Gatos, were the hardest ones I've dealt with thus far. And after this, I feel like everything has been pretty easy for me. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of XP, or is it just like it's plateaued for you?
It's hard to say. I just they don't hit as hard. Maybe.
I think in this area we kind of get to a point where we start actually feeling some level ups more so. Like it seemed more like a natural kind of progression of me not like necessarily having to game the encounter in order to ensure that I get a level up, and kind of more getting more natural level ups just with like the difficulty of these encounters and what the enemies can do to me, while I can still walk away from it and not be concerned about like the future of this.
Right. But yeah, so we beat him. We get a little message that we've defeated the enemy commander. And then after that, the castle's taken over. We have liberated Fynn, the place from which we were running.
Altair is now empty.
Scene.
We have effectively turned Altair into a ghost town. The industry has dried up there, and it's no longer. It is in a sharp decline.
Yeah. Ruined the economy of an entire city by taking back Fynn.
Yeah, what was Altair before all this shit went down?
So I guess it was
was it already a ghost town that we kind of hermit crabbed ourselves into, and now we have outgrown that shell and we have discarded it?
What was the
Although
second?
I guess hermit crabs, I've heard that hermit crabs actually like they all line up in size order when they're like molting or whatever, and then they do a very like communal based thing where they like exit their shells and then go into like their neighbor's shell instead, because they're like, well, I'm outgrowing mine and we're all in this together, so let's all do that.
Maybe it's like the second city in the game, Gatria, where it has like 2 NPCs and that's it. Like maybe it was like a little town like that. But yeah, it's done, and it's actually pretty cool because like the castle now is full of NPCs with their own dialogue, and the town of Fynn is now repopulated with NPCs with their own dialogue.
Right. I actually went into the town first before I came to the castle. I'm like, well, this is exactly the same as it was the beginning of the game. Getting my ass kicked.
Oh yeah.
Black Knights.
Yeah, why did they put Gatos on the throne if the fucking Black Knights were stronger than he was?
Yeah.
Interestingly, while the town of Fynn is full, there's like people in every single home. There's all kinds of people walking around, all with unique dialogue. The pub is empty. So like the one place that I feel like people would go, no one has gone.
Listen, that's how you know you have a good you have a good town, you have a good life for everyone. No one really needs to go to the bar. You know what I mean?
I guess so.
Maybe word has started spreading that a prince died there.
Maybe nobody could figure out how to like walk to the back of the town, but remain one tile within the border of the town to be able to go over to the
be fair,
pub.
that location does suck.
Yeah, it's true.
It's like having a restaurant under an overpass or something.
Yeah.
It's across a very busy highway.
But at least in the Pixel Remaster, I know it starts a kind of cutscene-ish with Hilda and Gordon back on the throne, and just like, it's good to finally be back.
We're so back.
We are so back. This would never have been possible had we not worked together. Thank you all. I mean, we did all the work.
Yeah.
She just told us where to go. But one thing still troubles me. Minwu left for Mysidia, but we've not heard from him since. It pains me to ask you so soon after winning back our castle, would you go to Mysidia? And we get, I think this is the first time we can learn Mysidia.
That's right.
Now.
Yeah. Which,
yes.
famously a location from Final Fantasy IV.
Yeah. A magical place.
A magical place. A land of mages, in fact. Without their help, which she says, Mysidia is a land of mages. Without their help, defeating the Emperor won't be easy. I've heard the ultimate magic lies in the Mysidian Tower. Obtaining it requires 2 masks. And we can ask her about the masks. And she says, the white mask rests beneath Castle Fynn.
This very castle.
The very castle. I will tell you the incantation.
It was placed there exactly 13 years ago tonight. Under a full moon.
It's the Jason mask. It's the white mask.
Yeah, that's my favorite enemy from the Mario universe.
Yeah,
the little Jason
right.
mask.
But she says, I will tell you the incantation to open the door. So listen carefully. Veve ekment telios.
Yeah.
Which I don't know, like that makes a lot of sense the way it's said in that translation, but essentially there is a magic hidden passage in the castle somewhere is essentially what she means, and those are like the code words to open it.
Yeah, she says, "Forgive me. I'm afraid I don't know the door's location." And I think if you like talk to Gordon, he was like, "Well, if someone in town knows, probably maybe Paul would know."
Yeah, maybe Paul
he's
would
like
know.
the thief Paul. So we can talk to Paul and get the location, or you can do what I did in the NES version here, which is not talk to Paul, but I had talked to Paul in the Pixel remaster months earlier, so I already knew the location of it, and I just immediately went to the
Really?
spot on the wall here that says "Nothing is out of the ordinary" or something, and I said, "Nothing out of the ordinary," and then when you say "Ekmit telos," it says "a secret door," and then you can get in there.
Yeah. Also, he if you ask him about Mysidia, he'll tell you about the Mysidian Tower and that it has the Ultima Tome inside, and you can ask him about that and learn the Ultima Tome words.
Yeah, we learned a lot of phrases this
Yeah,
conversation.
There's a
this
lot of
is the
phrases.
classic lore dump, the info dump portion of the game.
It really is. Like, this isn't even like the most of it too.
Yeah.
But yeah, he says, "I'm certain it would help us to defeat the Emperor. Hilda knows the castle best, but Paul, the greatest thief in the world, may know some secrets too." So that's when we go looking for Paul. Importantly, before I went to town, I talked to a very important NPC on the second floor of the castle, whose dialogue says, "This is the second floor of the castle." So that was very helpful in figuring out where I was.
There are two NPCs as well on the third floor, I believe, right before you get to the audience chamber. And when you talk to the one on the left, he says, "The audience chamber is ahead." And then if you talk to the one on the right, he says, "The audience chamber is ahead."
But the town of Fynn is actually like full of
Bustling.
people with new dialogue. It's actually pretty amazing. Like somebody there also points you toward Paul, saying like, "Oh, you should go visit him at his house. He's so excited to be home." They thank you for reclaiming the castle. There's a person who says, "Living here again is like a dream come true." A lot of people
made my heart flutter a little. I
you know
was
what?
down with that. I'm like, you know what? Hell yeah.
I thought about it. I was like, you know what? I bet that is crazy for like those people to be like, "Oh, I thought we were just gonna have to live in Altair or like on the run forever." Like,
Yeah, just be refugees
would.
forever. Like, we'll never see our home again. And now they're like, hey, we're fucking back, dude. What a dream come true.
There's an old man who literally says, "I never thought I'd be able to come back to Fynn during my lifetime." That's so good.
It's really,
That's so
really
good.
sweet.
Yeah, I like it a lot. If you go back to Altair, by the way, and you talk to the guy who tells you about, we're retaking the castle or whatever, and you talk to him now that we've retaken the castle, he says, "We're retaking the castle. Prince Gordon and Princess Hilda have pitched a camp near Fynn." So he has not gotten
everyone's
the
celebrating.
information yet.
Yeah, no one had time to send a carrier pigeon or anything. News
Right.
travels slow. We don't want the Empire catching wind of it. Not
We
that
go
they
up to
could
him.
like
Mhm.
do anything
Yeah.
really, but
You have to go up to him and be like, "Ekmet teloias," or whatever. And he,
sleeper
What?
agent engaged.
yeah.
He just becomes a Terminator, like T-1000, just like running towards the Colosseum to find the Emperor.
Must assassinate senator. Just like leaves. But yeah,
Must kill Mo. Whee!
Mo.
Must kill Mo.
yeah. But yeah, if you talk to Paul, he straight up knows exactly where the door is. He's like, "Oh, you're looking for a hidden door? Yeah, it's in this room, about these many blocks away from the throne room."
He's
It's
like,
fine."
"Yeah, what's the treasure that you're trying to get? Oh, white mask. That doesn't sound like anything I want. It's all yours, buddy."
Yeah. Yeah, it just opens up the like ultimate magic in the world, the like ultimate forest. Psh, what do I look like? Come on, I'm a thief.
Yeah,
man.
dude, he's a fucking ninja class. He doesn't need that shit.
That's right.
Who cares?
Yeah.
There's also a mirror in Castle Fynn. There's just
I do also want to say, if we root around, it's always nice when someone gives you information that is very pertinent to your mission and to the saving of the world, to kind of just like root around their house a little bit and see what they're hiding. There is another one of these nothing out of the ordinary blocks in Paul's room.
Oh, really? I didn't find it.
Yeah, but we can't do anything with that just yet.
I didn't even know.
There a dev room in there?
It's a thing that I don't think you necessarily would find. Like later on, you can talk to him and he'll let you in there. But
Oh, okay. Yeah, so there's that. There's a mysterious mirror that I found in a Castle Fynn that we don't really have any use for right now.
right,
But we finally we go up to the hidden entrance. Nothing out of the ordinary. We tell it's Ekmet Telos or whatever, and it opens up, and we're able to go through the bowels of Castle Fynn, looking for.
It's like more sewers.
It's like more sewers.
Yeah, much more sewers.
And let me tell you, I was terrified at first after having stormed the castle and how fucking bad those fights were. Mm-hmm. It was so nice to finally have some fights that I could just smash through and be like, get wrecked, scrubs.
This is where I was like, oh, okay, I actually see each of my characters leveling up in a significant way, getting into like encounters that could be dangerous, but usually I can get out of them, and they're very nice. Like I do have a couple screenshots here of Maria being the only one alive. Firion is stoned, Layla is stoned, and Guy is just dead. And Guy at this point for me in the NES has 3,200 HP.
Oh my gosh! Okay.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So him being KO'd is pretty rough.
They just can't put down those fat doinks. They're just stoned every turn.
Yeah. That's the we're seeing new enemy types here as well. They're like the higher class of the Spectre or the Revenant or zombie enemy that we've encountered before. It's like a blue and purple. It almost looks like the Wildberry Pop-Tart. It's that color palette, so it looks real tasty. But
now, you know
those
what?
guys can be kind of tricky.
I will say that like it's not entirely fair to say that I was magically good at the game at this point or anything like that, because in this dungeon, pretty much every enemy that popped up, I did look online and was like, okay, what's their elemental weakness? And just gave them a big, a nasty fire 5 or fire 6 or whatever. And so that definitely makes it a lot easier if you know their elemental weaknesses.
Yeah, I also say that in that I just looked at the critical path to get through here, and also was save stating a bunch just in case, because there have been a couple of instances where like I completely forgot that these enemies will just use stone on you. I'd just be standing there and be like, well, that's a party wipe just because I got unlucky.
Entirely. Yeah, so I agree. So I've been using that too.
I can't remember if I mentioned this before, but in the Pixel Remaster, you can cycle through which character you have on the overworld, which is a nice little feature that you can have. But you can't do that in the NES. You can't really arrange your party to have that. But if there's characters who are knocked out, and you're on the overworld and Firion's knocked out, you'll see Maria instead.
That's true.
And if Firion and Maria, you'll see Guy or like Layla and stuff, which I thought was a really nice touch. Which also made me like, why can't I cycle through that? I want to be able to play as Layla the whole time.
If you put the sprites in, let me play them.
Yeah.
But
some decent loot, I think.
There is decent loot. Yeah,
we got the there is a chest that contains a knife that's like one of the better knives in the game. The Ori Shalom.
I don't know how to say that. Or a calcum.
I do know that it ends with the word cum, spelled C-U-M. So that's
true.
Oh,
that's true.
yeah.
I think I looked it up, and that is if I remember, it's like Greek or Roman. It was like a certain type of material. When I was trying to figure out what the fuck it was saying. Yeah, it's a valuable yellow metal known to ancient Greeks and Romans, now sometimes interpreted as referring to a natural alloy of gold and copper, sometimes treated as a mythical substance. So that's where... So it's like a knife made
Give me 2 seconds here.
That mythical cum.
Orichalcum.
Orichalcum. Okay.
There you go. But so we find that, and I think I did equip that with Layla, and it is good. It like as far as like attack power goes, it's significant. So it's a good weapon. We find the power staff here, some flame armor. I got an item called the Betrayal Fang.
Yeah,
what is
a sick name for an item that I don't think I'm ever going to use.
I ended up using that to get me out of the scrape, actually. Yeah, I think what that does, as the name would imply, it causes betrayal by confusing your enemies. So I was in a kind of a tricky spot, and I got hit with an encounter that I didn't want to try to re-roll or anything, and I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to throw the Betrayal Fang and see how it goes. And it prevented me from getting attacked from some enemies. I think I got hit by I think I might have used it on the Chimeras coming up.
Okay. All right.
And it made that a lot more bearable.
A Fang with the same effect as Confuse. Cast Confuse 16.
Yeah.
Nice. But yeah, there's freaking. I love the stupid little rats down here. The sprites for those.
Oh, the stunners or whatever.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They're so good. They're so goofy. I love those.
I came across a group of 4 Ryos.
Yeah.
Which are like the chimeras, but like stronger, I guess.
They have bad breath.
Oof.
Oh no.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a monster in a box with 4 Ryos in it. Or well, 1 to 4 Ryos in it.
Yeah, 1 to 4.
Yeah.
I think that's the one. I think is that the Orshalam or whatever it's called?
Yeah, or
a
Calcum. I think so. Yeah. But on that same floor that we find the Orichalcum in the box with the Ryos in it, we also find the white mask, half of the masks that we need for the Ultimate Tome. So that's incredibly handy that it just so happened to be in this area.
How about that?
Indeed. Oh, by the way, so one of the items in this version one of the items in this dungeon is the power staff, but it is not the power staff in the PSP and later. No. It is the power staff in the PSP and later versions. But before that, in the, what is it called? Not Revelations, Origins. In Origins and the Famicom version, it is a blood sword.
Yes.
Yes. Is this the
sword.
weapon you meant as the best weapon, Carl?
Yes, it is. I was trying to find it as well, because if it was placed here, I don't have a screenshot of me finding it. But I used this a lot in the Pixel remaster, so I don't know if it. I think it might be the power staff instead.
Yeah.
But it would be really interesting here because in the start of this castle, when we get to the first couple of floors, we'll find a lot of treasure chests, and they have like clothes in it or like knife, like just very like basically trash, like inventory waste.
Yeah.
So not good loot at all. And then there's the blood sword, which has I think like 0 attack, and like the stats on it are dog shit.
Yeah.
So you would look at that and be
sucks.
like, blood sword, this sucks. And what the gimmick of this sword is it's got like a vampire effect. So you attack an enemy and you get HP back, which is really pretty cool, but it might not really be all that useful to you. And if you fight undead, it just damages you.
Yeah.
So if you're just kind of using it passively, you're like, oh, this thing sucks. It doesn't give me high attack stat. I can't really do that much when I attack an enemy. It does such little damage with Firion. I'll just use any other weapon with Firion and I'll be fine. But the interesting thing about it is a percentage-based thing.
Yeah.
So when you're fighting bosses, if you're using the blood sword, it'll do 1/16 of their HP.
So sick.
So with Firion, you can just hit some of the heavy-hitting bosses and do quad 9s of damage and get some of that back as an HP thing. So it is another easy mode weapon.
Aren't there 2 of them in the game too?
There are 2 of them in the game, so you could even presumably just dual wield them with Firion and get basically 8 attacks kills the boss.
Yeah, so sick. So
that
sick.
is a nice get out of jail free card if you're in a really bad situation.
I haven't equipped it yet because I didn't know exactly how it worked and I was a little bit afraid to. So I'm glad you explained it.
It is worth using for certain fights.
Sure.
I think it's interesting too because I like accidentally found that out. I didn't look anything up about it in the Pixel remaster, and then when I was in like the later game dungeons, I just like was reading some of the item descriptions and saw that. I was like, well, Firion, like I can get some HP back. Let me try that. And I was like, oh, this like sucks because I'm really not doing any damage to this enemy. And then like I used it on a boss. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, that's fucking sick. That's awesome.
Yeah, so
very good.
So we got a lot of tools now to make this game way more manageable.
Yeah, that's you know what? I kind of like that. I like it's definitely different from any other Final Fantasy game, but I feel like at this point in the game, we're starting to get tools that actually make the battle system feel right. Where it's like, you need to be a little smart, a little like cunning to be able to put things together in such a way to make you win. So like,
before it was very easy to kind of get yourself into a position that you could not get out of. That is becoming less and less the case. I say that as I'm looking at a screenshot of me versus 4 of the Rios, like the Chimera enemy, and my entire party is just stoned.
Yeah.
Like no real fix in that, but
I'm also looking at the blood sword right now. It has a 100% magic penalty. Just makes your magic stat 0.
yeah, so it's extremely unbalanced.
That's wild. That's so cool though. I like that.
That's kind of like a thing where like it very much so disincentivizes people from using it, and must have been a really cool like playground thing of being like, yo, you got that blood sword? It's like, yeah, that shit sucks. It's like, no. There's actually a Mew underneath the truck, and when you use the blood sword on a boss, it's good as hell.
Yeah, so we have the white mask, and I guess we're off to Mysidia, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Is that where we know the black mask is?
no.
I think that's the only lead that we have at this point.
Right.
Is just, hey, you know, we talked to what's her name, Hilda, and she was like, hey, 2 things. 1, where's the fife? 2, give me the fife. But she says
3.
There's 2 masks that require getting the ultimate home. 1 is under this very castle, and the other thing is I'm worried about Minwoo, who went to Mysidia and has yet to return.
Yeah.
Right. But there are a couple ways to get to Mysidia. I took a boat, but before I get to the boat, I can go to Altair and go to the inn and maybe rest up for my journey before I go. So maybe we should take a little honk shoe me, and when we get back, we'll go on our grand quest across the world.
Yes.
Sounds good.
All right. Ekmet Teloes.
Wild Rose.
Where's your beans hat from?
Oh, it is a gift from Sarah that it's merch from Bush's Beans, which I do not ever get. And
Are you thinking
I am
about
always
those?
thinking about those beans, but
Oh my gosh.
yeah, it's just she also got me a button-down shirt that has like hot dogs and all stuff and little Bush beans. And she got a koozie for a beer that looks like a can of Bush's Beans.
I love that actually.
It's really good. I just love this hat because it just says beans on it. It's good.
My man looking so good.
I usually just get Goya, but
When I lived in Portland, Maine, there was the B&M baked beans factory, like right
Ooh.
there, like
What?
over the water. And
affiliated to the Cheesecake Factory at all?
Could you imagine like a Willy Wonka style factory, but it's like just beans? So you like go in and it's just like like the little river with a little boat on it is just like refried
a
beans.
gondola full of beans.
Yeah, a
bean
gondola on like a river of refried like brown beans.
It's a lot of molasses, yeah.
Yeah.
But it got closed down and everyone's real sad.
That's a bummer.
But there is a giant Christmas tree, like a fixture on top of it that's still there.
Nice.
Fizzy lifting chili.
This is Biden's America, dude, getting rid of the bean factory.
Yeah. Damn it. Bring back the beans.
And making being cis a crime.
We're taking back the baked beans factory.
I was thinking about it and I'm just like, it's being alive in 2023 is so wild because it's like obviously everyone in our circle is of a similar mindset and like a, you know, like political leaning, if you can even really call it that. You know, we're all decent people and we like to dunk on the dumb sort of like right wing sort of shit that gets spouted, but like the way to dunk on it is to ironically say it, but when you're posting it online or something you're like, oh, there could be someone who has no context to anything about me who sees that and is just like, oh, that person's a fucking piece of shit because he's like saying this stuff, and it's like
Anything tongue-in-cheek will just get you blocked because, like, oh, you're one of those guys.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh man, it's like I don't, you know, that's fine. Like,
Twitter lacks nuance.
Yeah,
What?
Twitter lacks a lot of stuff.
Oh, so you're saying that people with nuance shouldn't be on Twitter?
yeah, exactly. I'm glad you loved when fucking people who lack nuance are dead. It's like, oh my god, dude, no, Jesus.
Well,
Anyway,
I'm tired of... Yeah.
Luckily, in the world of FF2, there may be some baffling mechanics on how the game works, but luckily there is no Twitter to be seen. So
This is true. Although
Sid hasn't invented it yet.
Although there are bird enemies that are coming up in the next area that I hate, and they can go right to hell.
Oh yeah,
they do be doing some tweeting. So like I didn't know where to go next. I'm gonna be honest with you all.
This is a good thing to bring up because the next area that we are going to discuss is an area that I immediately went to when I got the boat in the Pixel Remaster, because the Pixel Remaster is a lot kinder and doesn't just kick the fucking shit out of you constantly and leave you in really bad situations. It's got the autosave, so even if it does that, you gain the knowledge that can get you through the next time.
Yep.
So I just went immediately to the tropical cave and was like, oh, this seems like it might be a little outside of my level, but I will keep going through and just see if I can get any cool loot or anything. And it was like, and it plays like the fanfare, the dun 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 dun, like the big, like, you got a cool treasure thing. And it's like, you got the black mask. And I was like, that means nothing to me. I don't know what that is. I don't. And then like when I started the quest way later, I was like, oh, okay.
So you were like ready to go, like already had the black mask.
And then she's like,
done.
and I was like, fuck, now I got to find a white mask. And she's like, the white mask is below this very castle. I was like, hell yeah, dude. Accidentally optimized.
So where I went next was I was looking for Mysidia, not necessarily the black mask location, because I don't know where that is yet, right?
Yeah, we have not learned that yet.
I just walked to Mysidia because
you can just walk to Mysidia, and I didn't know it.
Oh yeah, so Curtis, do you remember earlier in this very episode when I was telling you about the OP strat of using Osmos?
Yes.
So I found that out while playing Pixel Remaster, and I was like, I will use this in the NES version because it seems great. Or I was like, maybe I won't because it might make it too easy. And now I'm like, this game's too fucking hard. I'm using the easy strat. I foolishly had no recollection of where I got Osmos, and I'm like, okay, it's a spell, and it's a high-level spell. So you can probably just get it at Mysidia. So like I want to say like 3 or 4 weeks ago when we were like getting ready for something, I was like, I could probably make it to Mysidia now. I'm gonna give myself a little extra help this week on the homework. I'm gonna get to Mysidia, I'm gonna get Osmos, and I'm gonna get out. And I spent like an hour trying to get to Mysidia early, finally got there, went up to the shops to talk to them, and no one sells Osmos. And I was
my
like,
God.
No. So I wasted like an hour just trying to get there.
Oh no. And like the funny thing is about like the way FF2 works, right, is that like even if you beat enemies on the way, in any other Final Fantasy, you'd be like, oh, well, at least I got some good levels out of it.
I got some, No. This, it's like you got some gil, which you no longer need.
Yeah. But yeah, so you can indeed walk to Mysidia by going south west from Altair, right?
Yeah.
Or
can you take a chocobo there?
I mean, if you went all the way to the chocobo forest,
just because there are some paths that get cut off by like rivers or something, or like mountains that you can't get to with a chocobo.
Oh, that's true.
Is there more than one chocobo forest in this game?
No, there's just the one.
There's just the one. But yeah, so you can walk there. I got in the boat and I sailed outside of the inner sea.
Yeah.
And I kind of went to the west because I was like, well, I know it's to the west, southwest, so I'll get out of the inner sea, go west, land on the continent, and walk around. And oh my God, the enemies there. Good Lord. So speaking of birds, and glad that there's not Twitter. The cockatrices, I guess, show up now.
Oh, yeah.
And they can just turn you to stone with a physical attack. And boy, do they love to do it.
Oh, yeah.
It is so
with
rough.
A physical attack. Oh, fuck. Yeah.
Yes. So that's super rough. And there's other enemies that you'll encounter there.
The black flan, I was having a hard time with.
The black flan. Oh, my God. I hate him. Yeah, there's a lot of really tough shit.
I'm excited to fight the black flan. What's the deal with the black flan?
I think fire is what works on it. Let me pull it up real quick.
So I will be able to take that. So another thing that I've been doing in the NES version is leveling up Holy anytime I can, because having a non-elemental spell is really fucking good.
Okay.
So like if I come up to one of those enemies that's like, only certain elements work on it, 90% of the time I want to say, if not 100, it's like I can just use Holy on it and take it out.
Got you. Their thing is that fire is the only thing that works on it. They have like near impregnable defense for anything else.
Yeah.
And their physical attack is poisonous. So they hit you with poison from just attacking. And that's like
poison.
So much
Getting
of the
poisoned
challenge.
at this point in the game, I will say, is good because that is just fodder to level up Asuna. Because you're like, cool,
that's a good way to look
casts
at
of
it.
Asuna right here. Let's go, dude.
That's true.
I actually kind of cheesed it a little bit as well, where Furion has a sword that casts Curse. So I can just curse everyone on my team. Like I curse Furion first, so then when he attacks someone, it doesn't just outright kill them. And then at the end of the battle, I have 4 cursed people that I can just use Asuna on to get the stat up a little bit.
That's a good idea, yeah. But it turns out that I was in the wrong area anyway, and I could not find Mysidia, and I was like, what the fuck is happening? So if you did what I did...
I think I did do what you did at one point, so go ahead.
Get back in your boat, sail around the southern tip of that continent, and then back up north. And on the basically like where I was, that continent is blocked in the west by a mountain range. Mysidia is on the west of that mountain range. So you go around the continent, come up north, and then you can get to the town.
Yeah. What I did when I was playing the Pixel Remaster and had this weird, completely out of order thing where before even I did Diced, I was in, the tropical cave that we're going to find out about. Yeah. When I was trying to find Mysidia, I was like, okay, fuck it. I'm just going to look it up where it is on the map. I'm just going to look at a map really quick and see it. And I saw Mysidia on the map. And I went there and I was like, I can't do anything here. There's nothing here. There's just like a gate. And it was like, oh, I am in the Mysidian Tower, which is not Mysidia. And now I need to go over into Mysidia and stuff. So it's pretty tricky to find your way throughout here. I think the map on NES might kind of show you that there's a town that you can try and get to if you're looking at it. But it scrolls so slowly that it's not even worth even really looking at.
Yeah. But it's not entirely clear where Mysidia is, but there are multiple ways to get to it. But it is, in fact, southwest of Fynn and Altair. But there's quite a lot going on in Mysidia. Like it's like a pretty busy, bustling place. There's a lot of mages walking around. There is a very good shop, and there is a very interesting house. And some cool other things in the middle of town. So it's kind of got a lot going on. It's really nice too. There's like flowers planted everywhere and like nice little walking paths. It definitely looks like a mage's village compared to like the towns that we've seen in the game this far.
Yeah, the aesthetic of the buildings is different than what we've seen before. Less, I'm not sure, like less European centric and more kind of like stonework with ornate kind of bricks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Something to see like on a more deserty kind of environment. Lots of square decals and stuff like that.
Yeah, the center of the town is also full of water too.
Yeah, it's a nice little like fountain sort of looking thing.
Yeah, I was like, is it a pond? Is it a lake? It's kind of like a very, very small lake. Like imagine like the smallest a lake could possibly be before it would become a pond.
Is a pond larger than a lake? I thought a lake was bigger than a pond.
It is. Yeah. I'm saying like, imagine the smallest a lake could be when it gets onto like, it's like right on the edge, I guess.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's even a small
one more
pond.
fucking
I'm not
drop
sure.
of water. The next rainstorm, it might evolve
into
a lake
at that point. Exactly. Yeah.
I went straight to the magic shop because there's 5 magic like.
The magic
there.
shop is what's up. There's so much.
We found our way to Wawa.
This is basically where I got Asuna because I don't think I had picked it up at this point.
Oof, yeah. It's rough to just be starting the Asuna stuff now.
Yeah, I spent some time kind of just like running around, basically right in front of Mysidia, just kind of leveling it up because the black flame can sometimes poison you. So I was just kind of running around in circles, leveling that up for a bit.
So yeah, in this one building, and I'm just gonna run through it because I think it's funny. But in this one building, the magic shop, you can buy fire, blizzard, thunder, cure, blink, protect, shell, fear, basuna, esuna, silence, life, sap, warp, teleport, barrier, wall, swap, and holy. And did I say swap, by the way? I think I did say swap, which is another good level up style, like grind style spell that you can cast, which will swap your HP and MP with the enemy. So if you cast it on like a very, very weak enemy, it swaps your MP and HP for theirs. And so it looks like you've taken a lot of damage and used a lot of magic during that battle, increasing the chances of your
Or if you swap with one of your teammates who has much lower MP, you can kind of level up your MP that way as well.
Right.
Curse, have you done that when you should have tried it with when Layla
had zero? Yeah, give all of my party members 0 HP.
Or can you give it to an enemy?
Oh, yeah, I wonder. Yeah, that'd be interesting.
You just kill them by swapping.
That's actually very interesting. Like, maybe not enough to start an entire new playthrough of the game and try it again, but like...
Well, not only would you have to start an entire new playthrough of the game, but you would have to do a whole lot of prerequisites to do that, like leveling up swap to a level that would be able to be cast within one turn and hit.
Yeah, that's fair.
And make sure that Layla is at 0 HP when she departs.
I wonder if I could do some save file hacking.
I wonder, if you
ensure
do
that and just try it.
Yeah. There's also Mysidia also does have really good weapons and armor as well. You can buy like the knight armor and thief's gloves. Like we've had the thief's gloves. We've had one pair of them, but you can just buy them here.
They raise your evasion, I believe, as well, right? Or your agility or something. So therefore, it also raises your agility. Something along that.
Speaking of which, I did at this armor shop and weapon shop. I finally took the time to organize my items, sell everything that I wasn't using, sell all the tomes, redo my item equips so I can give like people like elixirs and shit like that if they need it. And I started unequipping armor and just being like, don't need heavy armor, fuck that shit, give me the evasion. And so like finally my evasion has started to increase in the game for the first time ever.
Have we talked about the fear stat?
I have not. I don't think we have.
Okay, I can't remember if we discussed it at all, but I'm going to talk about it again if we did. There is like a stat that enemies have that is like a fear stat, and I think that the way it's calculated is it takes the pool of HP that the enemies have and compares it to the pool of HP that your party has, and with that, they are more likely to run away if there's a discrepancy there.
Oh wow.
So that's why as a battle is going on, when you're doing much better, sometimes one of the enemies will run away or two of the enemies will run away. And what's interesting about that is in the last dungeon that we were talking about, in Castle Fynn, I was getting like pretty deep into it where the more difficult enemies were coming through, and I was getting a bunch of them that were just running away from me. Like I have leveled up enough to the point where like the enemies that I'm supposed to be fighting at this point are like, yo, fuck that, I'm out of here. And I'm like, that makes me feel pretty good. Like that's pretty sweet.
Interestingly, I'm reading about the casting of it, and in this version of the game, I suppose, there's a chance that if you use fear, it can overshoot the maximum value and then do a wrap to where the enemy will never run, like no matter what.
That's really fun. That seems
funny.
Like it might actually kind of be useful because there's been points where I've been like trying to just osmos grind or something, and it's like I don't want the enemy to run away, and then it runs away. Yeah. Or like the one that's going to drop something that you want, like the magician or whatever, it runs away, and you're like, well, I wanted that fucking osmos tome or whatever. But yeah, I'm not even talking about casting fear or anything. It's just like a stat that exists. So if you're way outclassing your opponents, they will have a value coded into them that will make them likely to flee.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's cool.
Yeah.
It also has a really cool animation in the Game Boy Advance and later versions, where a big spooky skull appears on the screen.
Oh.
How do I? Whoa!
Sorry,
they should have warned me about that.
Jeez, Curtis. God. Trying to podcast here.
You want to know it's even scarier than a big scary skull?
No.
Is that later in the game there is an enemy called Skull that casts Toad 16.
Oh, that is actually legitimately
legitimately scary.
Curtis, have you cast Toad in the NES version at all?
I have not yet.
It's extremely cute if it hits. I was just kind of like trying to level it up and just casting it, being like, I'll just do multiple casts and whatever, and getting like some pretty good results with it, even when level 1. And it's like they just turn into a toad and then hop away, like away from your party. They just run away, and I'm like, that's so really cute. Good.
I like that a lot. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. But yeah. So Mysidia has a lot going on. A lot in the stores, a lot in the magic area. But it also has a very interesting house that you can go into to learn about like where you need to put the black masks. And it has a bookshelf And thus far in the game, I don't think any bookshelves have been interactable to this point. Like none of them say anything.
If they have been, we have not interacted with them.
Right.
Because it says nothing or whatever in the NES version, so fuck that.
Right. And I just got rid of all my screenshots, so give me a second.
Classic.
One of the classic foibles.
Here we go. So, in this house, I don't think there's anybody in the house, or maybe like one mage or something. But in the top right corner, there's a bookshelf that if you interact with it, it says many old books line the shelves, and you can the ask command comes up, and almost every word we've learned you can use. And something comes up about it. It's pretty detailed too. It's like really interesting. Like I think more lore of the world is shared through this interaction than any other part of the game, I think.
I don't think I ever did that. That's very interesting.
Well, let me, if I may, go through some lore.
Take it away.
So I started at the top of my list and just went down or whatever. And the newest words are first. So we'll start with those. So I asked it about Ultima, because I figured, that's probably why you're talking to it in the first place. And it says, eons ago, Pandemonium, the palace of hell, emerged onto our land. The mages conjured a mighty spell to banish it. The mages feared the great power of that spell, so they sealed it within a tower. And so that's what Ultima does, is it banishes the Pandemonium, the palace of hell, away from our world. Isn't that sick? That's fucking cool as shit. You can ask it about the masks, and it says, give the white mask to the goddess underground. If thou art pure of heart, the doppelganger will cease to move. Fit the black mask upon him, he and his defiled heart shall fade. So having not gone down there yet, I don't know what the fuck that means.
Yeah, and having never read that and getting to that part in the game being like, well, that was fucking weird and nonsensical and nothing like told me anything about that. Whatever, like video game, don't care. Yeah, that's really cool that actually has like an in-world description.
Yeah. If you ask it about Mysidia, it says the mages knew that they were too powerful, so they founded Mysidia to remain secluded. If you ask it about dragoons,
that's like, I feel like that's like kind of, is that the opposite of xenophobia? Is like, we are too powerful. We don't want to cause problems for anyone else. We need to like
sick and based.
Yeah. They're the fucking master Roshi of this game. They're like, I'm too fucking strong and also way too horny. So I got to put myself on an island.
If you ask it about dragoons, it says Deist was the home of the wyverns. Han, the first dragoon, spent 30 years alongside them. And then if you ask about wyverns, it says the wyverns were actually, it says the wyvern. Oh, okay, it's singular. I was like, how the fuck do you say this? The wyvern was trained to fly with dragoons. Though smaller than a dragon, they can carry up to 5 people. How nice.
Nice.
Which we have
like
4 people in our we have 4 people in our party and possibly a guest at some point. That will surely come in handy later.
How convenient.
You can even ask it about like other smaller things too. So if you say like goddess bell, it says, long ago, a king asked for an indestructible lock and key. 3 of them were made. The first 2 were broken in 2 days, but the third one remained unbroken. So the king hid its key in a snowy cavern. And that's the goddess bell. Isn't that interesting? It's like
I wonder. So you can only you can't learn anything from these books, right? Like you can only ask.
That's right.
Asked. Yeah, I wonder if you can come here early if you're like super stuck. I mean, it seems pretty out of the way and like treacherous to get here. But like if you're like, I have no idea what to do, and like Goddess Bell, it tells you, hey,
at least for the Goddess Bell, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Sunfire is pretty cool. It says, long ago, a star fell to what would become Kashan. A man took the flame from the star and built an altar for it. So like, all right. So the Sunfire is like, comes from space. That's dope.
That's really fucking cool.
If you ask it about airships, it says technological advances produced the airship. Technology may even replace magic one day. And then if you ask it about mithril, It says it's strong and easy to forge, also responsive to magic. And finally, if you ask it about Wild Rose, it says question mark.
Nice, dude.
So,
yeah, the
classic
Mysidians may
response.
be smart, but they're not as smart as being able to unencrypt our code or
that's right.
Decrypt is the fucking smart guy way to say the dumb thing that I just said.
But isn't that dope though? That's
super cool. Yeah, I had completely missed that. Yeah,
it's awesome. I couldn't believe it when it was happening. I was like, holy shit, they put this in the game. That's fucking amazing.
They put data logs in the game in FF2.
I feel like everything in the game, like everything in the world of Final Fantasy II thus far has been incredibly immediate. Like we haven't learned anything about any of the people or the countries or anything outside of what is currently happening right this second, right? Like even in Final Fantasy I, we learned a little bit about the past and stuff like that, right? And as we go along, we learn about like, in the past, technology used to be even better than it is today, et cetera, et cetera. And I feel like this is the first time in Final Fantasy II we're like given context for the world that we're living in. And it's very cool. It's very cool.
Impressive for a game that was on Famicom.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I think it's great.
So we have a little bit more information about what the Black Mask will do.
Information about what it will do, not about where it is. So
no, nothing about where it is.
But there is a mage right outside that building that literally tells you, oh, the Black Mask is on a really small island. And so you just go to your map and you go, oh, that's the smallest island in the game.
There's a small island. Haven't been there yet. Let's go.
Yeah. And also, there are some mages in town who tell you, like, oh, hey, there was a guy named Minwu who came here. He's at the tower right now, though. So we know where he is.
Yeah, so we can't get into the tower.
He's like, you best go after him.
That's right.
Yeah, is that where the aforementioned doppelganger is? That if you were pure of heart, you may place the Black Mask on his.
Is that where he is, or is he in town? Because isn't there like something below Mysidia?
No, I think they said Mysidian Cave, right?
Yeah, right. In Mysidia, we were talking about like the pond lake, the plake, as you might call it, the poke, the lawn, maybe even. In the middle of it, there is an entrance to a cave there, which I did not go down because I said, well, the Black Mask ain't down there. This ain't no island. I'll be back later.
Yeah, smart.
Fuck that shit.
I just remember going there and seeing the doppelganger and being like, what the fuck? I'm so disturbed. No,
I haven't seen him yet. I'm excited.
I'm going to go ahead and leave.
I'm excited. But yeah, so there is a tropical island, I think is the name of it. Further to the south, it's on the smallest island in the game. I think it has like one tile that you can stand on, and then the cave. That's all it's on the island.
Yeah, it's extremely small,
and it's very interesting. Like on the NES version, when you go into it, it looks like a fucking visual mess in a way. Like there's so much green on it. There's so many different kinds of green, and the tiles are almost indistinguishable from each other, but some of the tiles you can like walk behind, and then some of them you walk on top of, and it gives you the feeling that you are in an overgrown like jungle. Right?
Yeah, it's really cool.
It's awesome. It's super cool. And there's some tiles of like water in it. There's some like dirt tiles, some grass tiles, there's vines everywhere. Like it is a bit of a visual mess. It's a little rough to look at, but it gives you such a good feeling of like how deep into this island you've gone. And I really like it. I really like the way it looks.
Yeah, it's really cool.
You also get some of that sleep grass.
Oh yeah.
That's right. You can finally get all of your party members stoned in the right way.
Sneep.
In the way that buffs your character instead of killing your party.
That's right. But remember, if you cast fear, it does not take into consideration stoned characters. So if you're lighting up, nobody's gonna be scared of you.
Oh yeah. So we were talking a little earlier about Malboros, and if they're in this game.
We were.
And they are. They are in the cave in Mysidia. I'm looking through my Pixel Remaster screenshots now.
Okay.
And I see an encounter that I have where it's 5 Malboros, and I do not remember if I made it out of that attack. I might have just been able to run away from that one because the Pixel Remaster actually allows you to run away. But the next one I have. Do you mind if I talk about the doppelganger a little bit? Since I'm sure some people might have dipped in and stuff. We see a door, and we're walking there as Firion, and in front of us is the exact same sprite as Firion, except mirrored the other way, so it's looking right back at it. Okay. And as Firion, you talk to it, and it says, "Out of our way," and then the doppelganger just says, "Out of our way," and that is all you can do with that.
Okay, so, interesting.
Yeah.
You can't even ask it about Wild Rose.
No, you cannot.
Fucked up.
Can't even say stop hitting yourself and then punch it in the head.
I am looking at... Did I miss something important in the tropical dungeon? Tropical island? I may have. I did.
What did you miss?
I missed something essential in the tropical island.
Back to the island.
I'm gonna have to go back to the island. I'm looking. Okay, just FYI, this is great podcasting. Like, we really know what we're talking about. But I went through the tropical island dungeon, and I noticed that, like, oh, this dungeon easy. Like, compared to any of the dungeons we've done recently, like all the way back to Kashan Keep, this is like probably easier enemies than Kashan Keep. Like, I was trouncing these enemies, destroying them, get them out of here. Don't even want to talk to them. So I just smashed right through. I looked at a map and I said, "Oh, that's where we need to go. Let's go there." Apparently, there's a city in here.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I did not even find it.
There's a whole bunch of natives. I assume they're natives. So Curtis, you missed the best dialogue in the game.
Tell me about it. Tell me all about it.
I stumbled on here a few episodes ago by mistake because as soon as I got the boat, I'm like, "Oh, I'm going to this island."
Yeah, that's same.
But yeah, like you come in here and like there's a bunch of critters that look like they have white long hair and red masks, mostly red masks. I think there's a few that may have green masks.
Yeah, and they got like little green eyes peeking through the masks.
They have a goofy dialect like, "Ooh, what do we have here? Where you coming from?"
That's the best line in the game.
From? Where are you coming from? From my wiener.
Oh, looky, your weird face. Why you know wary mask. And then one who finally like gives us the kind of clue. It says, "Black mask is our treasure. We keepy at the bottom of the cave. You keepy your hands off. No matter. You can't findy, so you know takey."
I like to imagine that the way that these guys actually sound is the way that the vocals sound in Behind the Mask by Yellow Magic Orchestra.
Yeah.
Or Behind the Mask by
Is it
the Persona
me?
5 soundtrack.
Is it you? Behind the Mask, I ask. YMO, they predicted Final Fantasy II.
Wow.
Behind the Mask, I ask, which is a critical skill that we need to do to complete this game.
Somebody stop me.
Yeah, my screenshots are so fucked up because it's like me fighting the boss of like talking to like the villagers in the tropical island, fighting, monsters in chests in the tropical island, killing the boss here and stuff. And then the next one is me chasing after the child in Dice, being like, "I'm going to tell my mom." I'm like, "Damn, dude, I played this game really incorrectly the first time."
Well, that's cool. I might have to go back there just to see them.
But yeah, I found them by mistake, and then I didn't realize like, so there is areas of this cave I have not explored yet. So I kind of had to worm my way around, figure out which stairs I had not gone up or down. I wish there was a way to kind of keep track of that.
Yeah.
But we do find another room that's very similar to the one we found the white mask in, except now it's made of stone instead of it's made of cave instead of like dungeon. It's basically the same size, same room. And there's a rhino in the way.
Yeah.
Donkey Kong Country.
There is indeed.
Rhinos.
What is the name?
Twin
Horns? What's the Big Horns? Yeah, there's an enemy called Big Horns, and they are clownish. Like, compared to what we've been dealing with, these guys couldn't even beat Gatos. Like,
right.
they're so.
How big is
so
the sprite in the NES version?
Let me find
on
out.
The overworld. I'm assuming there's an overworld sprite blocking it, right?
There is. Yeah.
Because I know a lot. Like anything that we've had to fight is usually just one little tile. It's a little. It's a couple wide. It looks like it's about like two, but one tile, and then like the other two are like half tiles.
Okay.
Is this one?
Or I guess it takes up 6 tiles, I guess, but
is this always the same number?
No, it is. I think 1 to 4.
Just like the Chimera fight we had a few caves back.
I believe that's right. Hold on, let me find out for sure. No, it's just 1.
Oh,
it is.
Well,
just
I have
one.
4.
You got 4?
Yeah.
I do
Really?
not have a screenshot of it because I beat it so easily that I didn't even stop to take a screenshot or any notes.
Well, either way, if you could have one, you could have four. They're clownish. I think they have like 500 HP or something like that, which at this point is not very difficult.
They lit them up with fire.
No, they actually have about 1,000 I'm looking at right now, but nonetheless, though, they weren't that bad.
Yeah, that's like 16 hits with a blood sword, and it's no problem.
But actually, that's where I left off, because I was like, I don't know what's getting ready to happen with the masks. Might be a big emotional cutscene or something. Who knows?
Yeah, finally we're getting our first pre-rendered cutscene in the Famicom version.
That's right. No.
Where you get to see Guy speak with full voice acting.
Can't wait. Sounds like the announcer from Blades of Steel.
You do need the Famicom disk system for that, but luckily Curtis and I both have that.
I mean, who doesn't?
And we plug it into our Steam Deck that we're playing this game on.
That's right.
Did we place the white mask yet?
I haven't.
You could have. I think.
I accidentally stumbled in that, just snooping around Mysidia.
Yeah, just looking around, seeing what's up, and then you're like, you trip and drop the mask, and it like flips around a bunch and lands delicately on the head of the statue or whatever.
Yeah, because it was just like, oh, there's like a nice little stairway in the middle of this lawn.
The lawn, yeah.
There's a statue in the middle of it that's just begging for a mask.
You know what would really make this statue look a lot better? Some sort of mask.
Yeah. You put the black mask on it, and like somebody's like, no, not quite right. Not what I was thinking at all. And you put the white mask on. There we go.
Just going to go up to every statue of Christopher Columbus and put masks over it.
No one cared who he was until he put on the mask. Real Joker of history.
Well, so did you want to tell us what happens in that part? Or is it very long?
Oh yeah, so hold on. And zipping ahead. Got my screenshots out of order here.
This really do be the screenshots out of order portion of the video game.
It really, yeah. It's true.
At the bottom of the pond, lake, I think it's just one room basically you pop into. And in the middle of this kind of room, that's like a one-room dungeon. I don't remember if there's any encounters, but you see this little statue, a very unique asset. When you interact with it, it says, the statue beams with a beatific smile.
Ooh.
And so that gives you the option to talk or use key items. So I just plonked on the white mask. And it says, you place the white mask on the statue. And we do get a little sprite in the pixel remaster, and it kind of like just pulses like it's like a little bug or something. And that's basically it. It just now has a mask on it.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I think
kind of gave like a kind of glow ceremonious like thing, but nothing really happened.
I think there is
seems like that's where it goes.
I think there is some dialogue somewhere of like one of the mages telling you like there are 3 keys that are required to like breaking the seal to the tower or something, and it's like to like get Ultima or something, and I think this is like one of the seals and something like that.
Someone mentions a crystal rods, I think.
Yeah, right? Somebody says the masks are used to find the crystal rod.
Right.
A statue of a goddess is enshrined beneath the city. She watches over the crystal rods. That's pretty much all I got. And that's how I knew about that statue.
Yeah, so does the white mask... I guess I'll know a little better next week when it hasn't been like a month and a half since I played this part, but... I'm wondering if that opens the way to find the doppelganger, because in my screenshots, I did that, and then the next thing is interacting with the doppelganger.
Yeah, and then there's like another mage that says, so you want to break the seal in the tower? Yes, I agree. This is the time. We will do nothing to stop you. You must first collect the 2 masks, then travel to a certain cave somewhere on this continent. Within you should find a crystal rod, an artifact you will need if you are to enter the tower.
Okay, so I guess the 3...
He just spells it out for you.
Yeah, the 3 things that break the seal or whatever are the 2 masks being placed, and then getting into the tower to... whatever. I don't know.
And something bad happens.
We'll have more information next time.
Since it's been a little while since we've done it, and I haven't done it yet, maybe we'll leave off here today, and then we'll get it more into detail next time about how exactly all that works. Huh?
I think we should just continue on through to the end of the game.
All right, so you open the
and then we should talk
passage,
about Super Mario RPG from start to finish.
So you start out in Bowser's Castle.
In Pipe House.
Pipe House.
They did change the name of Pipe House, I regret to inform everyone. They changed it to Mario House.
Makes no sense.
Mario house. Nobody ever went to class.
Well, I'm lost.
God, me too.
So that's it for this week. Yeah, so I'm feeling pretty good about it. I think the annoyance factor of the game has toned down a little bit for me, where I'm like, oh, actually, maybe this game good now. We also have the tools now. Also, the weapons in Mysidia are pretty damn good, so I feel like my equipment is better too. So I'm doing more damage. I have better tools to level up with, and the enemies don't seem quite as bad, even though a lot of them do have status physicals. It's like you said, it's just more of an opportunity to cast Asuna all the time and actually get it to where they don't matter anymore. So it's not too bad right now. I would say like this is a good part of the game.
I think statuses to some degree will always matter in this game. But if you can make it through a battle, then they don't matter. But certain ones like Confusion and, Stone and things like that, or like just the Death one, like, if they hit the person that you have Asuna leveled up on, like, God help you, which has happened to me quite a few times. But we are equipped with a lot more tools to help us get through that. So
it's true.
I will continue to use save states. I will continue not feeling bad about it, and I will continue enjoying this game.
I haven't thought of a good segue. Help me.
What you guys got going on?
Oh,
tell us about BitGen 16, Curtis.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so my band, Zaku, has been picked to play at the BitGen Gamer Fest 16 in Baltimore, Maryland on August 5th. So if you would like to go to a sick, nasty music festival with a lot of like video game music bands and video game composers, there's a lot of like more popular artists who are going to be there. Like Lacey Johnson is playing.
Button
Mashers playing.
Danimal Cannon.
There's like
past guests. Darmok's band, Steel Samurai, will be
That's
there.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Past guest Kev's band, Cheap Dinosaurs, will be there.
That's correct. That's correct. So you'll be able to see.
Is Kev still in Cheap Dinosaurs?
No, not at the moment.
No.
Their drummer currently is Yusef, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Yusef.
right. Come to BitGen August 5th. In Baltimore, Maryland, at the Auto Bar, and you can meet me and a bunch of other people who have been on the podcast and hear my band Zaku play, and we will have a great time together and talk about Final Fantasy and all things VGM. It'll be great. Come hang out. Come say hi.
I'm looking forward to it. I hope to go.
Yeah, me too. I'm thinking former guest of the show, Frostwad, and I will be doing our best to make it down there. We might get like an Airbnb or something so that the travel
big Airbnb.
Oh yeah. So we're it should be fun. If you haven't been to BitGen before, it's at a really cool venue, and it's a really great time. I know the last couple times that I went, it's been a couple years now, but they had like Super Nintendos and stuff set up upstairs and like some arcade games perhaps or something, and just like really good vibes there. So
I wonder if I can get away with bringing my laptop and playing Street Fighter 6 with people.
Do it.
There. By the way, audience, I love Street Fighter 6. Come play Street Fighter 6 with me. It's so good.
Does Zaku need visuals? Just play Street Fighter 6 as you're shredding.
Oh my gosh.
Get a fucking hitbox and just play it with your feet.
Yeah. How about y'all? Got anything coming up? Sick.
No, I don't think I do. I started trying to do more with YouTube, I guess. So you can follow me there. It's youtube.com/@CarlGermPlays because someone has @CarlGerm. I'm coming for you. That's my doppelganger. I need to find a black mask.
Oh, that's right.
Get that URL, but
and then the darkness in his heart will subside and he'll let you by.
Yeah, but I've been doing a little bit
on finishing Dark Souls 2.
Yeah. So I finished Dark Souls 2. I'm going to be uploading all of those. I think I might also go back and get all the footage that I still have from Final Fantasy 13 and upload that now that it's been like probably a year since I did
Seems like
that live.
years ago.
Yeah.
I missed that game.
Yeah, same. But yeah, I'll be uploading a bunch of stuff like Super Mario World ROM hacks, not just like Final Fantasy stuff, not just Dark Souls speedrun stuff, but a good mix, just a place to dump it all. So I appreciate the subscribes. It's weird that on Twitch, which is the way I think of everything like that, it's like subscribe means you have to give me money. And then on YouTube, that is just the follow button, which costs no
Yeah.
money. So I always feel I never ask for subscribers on Twitch because that still feels weird to me. But being like,
I
hey,
will
subscribe
ask.
to my
Everyone
channel.
Subscribe
Yeah.
to Carl.
Yeah, subscribe to me, but only on Twitch, not YouTube. I demand your money. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, Alex, Ekmet Teloes.
Okay.
You forgot the VV, Curtis. Shit.
Oh, I did. Shit.
It is weird that she starts it out with VV and then says that, and then we just learn that word and we just don't say the first part.
Yeah, that's true.
It is funny that there are just a town full of Vivies in Mysidia.
Yeah. That's what the VV means. Yeah, exactly.
Thank you all again for listening. Thank you to Neither Round for the theme music and ending music. Thank you to Nobuo Uematsu for the game music. Thank you to the Gooch for the game. Be sure to rate, review, subscribe wherever you're listening to us, and give us a call or text at 530-MATERIA. You can find us at EveryFNFF on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and hop into our Discord. And you hear nothing out of the ordinary.
Goodbye.
What was the thing that the one guy in the tropical cave said about cummies?